That time Trump nearly died in a helicopter crash? In a news conference, the former president recounted a brush with death alongside the former. A few aspects of the story don't hold up to scrutiny. Former told a jaw-dropping story on Thursday about nearly dying in a helicopter ride with the former politician and ex-boyfriend of his rival. There was only one problem with the story. Or maybe two. Or maybe three. It wasn't the famous former mayor on the helicopter flight at all. It was of who bears little resemblance to. There was also no emergency landing, and the helicopter's passengers were never in any danger at all, according to who was also on the flight. Jerry Brown, who left office in January 2019, said through a spokesman, was no emergency landing and no discussion of. "I call complete," Newsom said, laughing out loud. Mr. Trump's errant account, delivered during a news conference at his club, and came in response to a reporter who asked a leading question about past relationship with and whether thought it might have had something to do with her career trajectory. The two dated in 1994 and 1995, while she was a prosecutor, in which includes Oakland, and he was the speaker of the, and he appointed her to 2 state boards. He was and still is married to, but they have long lived separate lives. "Well, I know very well," responded. "In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him." He went on to tell a cinematic tale of a close call with death and of politically advantageous gossip on death's door. "We thought maybe this was the end," said. "We were in a helicopter, going to a certain location together, and there was an emergency landing. This was not a pleasant landing. He was a little concerned," Mr. Trump continued. "So I know him, but I know him pretty well. I mean, I haven't seen him in years. But he told me terrible things about her. But this is what you're telling me, anyway, I guess. But he had a big part in what happened with. But I don't know. Maybe he's changed his tune. But he was not a fan of hers very much, at that point." Reached on his cell phone just after news conference at his regular lunch spot in downtown, said the whole story was false. He had never ridden in a helicopter with, he said. He had never nearly perished in any helicopter ride. And he remained an avid supporter of Mr. Brown, who loves regaling anybody who will listen with stories and who penned a weekly column in until 2021, added, "Laughing me well enough to know that if I almost went down in a helicopter with anybody, you would have heard about it." Ms. Harris ended their relationship nearly 3 decades ago, but said he had always been a big fan and supporter of hers. "No hard feelings," he said. The helicopter ride that took in 2018 with then the governor-elect of California was to survey damage wrought by the deadly in the town of in the foothills north of Sacramento. Mr. Newsom's recollection of the occasion was vivid. "I was on a helicopter with, and it didn't go down," said in an interview. He said that had, however, repeatedly brought up the possibility of crashing. The subject of with whom had enjoyed a friendly rivalry did not come up on the helicopter, he added. "We talked about everyone else, but not," he said with a laugh. Newsom called news conference an act of desperation prompted by what he called momentum. Trump's visit to the burned forest with then did generate headlines, but not because of anything that occurred on their helicopter ride. Rather, it was because, during a news conference after landing at the scene, 78 attributed the wildfire to too many fallen, dead tree branches and said the answer to solving California's wildfire crisis was to rake the forest floors. "It was back when we were making raking the forest great again," said.